Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Michael Burhan for another live stream. Hello. I thought I'd basically do one of these. I was kind of debating what I was going to do. If I was going to do a live stream or a video. I've got a new video coming today. I hope either today or tomorrow. It's going to be my South Park, the Stick of Truth review. That's going to be coming later on. But I'm basically wanted to talk about it. Hey, Gashead Steve. Basically, I'm addressing a video that Nicole Arbor made. Nicole Arbor, as everyone knows, she's the person who did the whole "Dear Fat People" thing, and also a rather heated YouTuber slash Facebook aficionado who did a video. Hey, Gorilla Gamer, you're not wrong at all. It's very fucking real. I agree with you. She basically put out a video recently stating that depression is all in your head. Now, I want to basically talk about this as someone who deals with depression, and as guest Steve has so aptly pointed out, deals with it on a regular basis. Now, in 2016, around about 2016, in July 20th, I basically attempted to take my own life, and a lot of it was due to my own depression and anxiety due to issues that built up in my life. A lot of it was issues that came from external sources, others were internal myself, and also it's basically stuff that I've been dealing with on a regular basis. Gashead Steve knows me, knows exactly these issues that I've been dealing with since forever, since I was with Retro Unlim, since I was before then, and stuff that I really still deal with. I'm at a good point in my life right now, but I still deal with these issues, and it's kind of a big thing, you know. It's kind of having those nagging anxiety feeling in your head with something's telling you that you're a piece of shit and that you're a piece of garbage and that you're the worst human being in the world. But it's also something that you have to kind of live with because it never goes away. I do indeed, and it's something that never does go away because being someone who's depressive, it kind of develops situations that happen that where you end up pushing people away. You end up having situations that occur in your life where you have people who don't deal with you as well. Because having a good kind of net around you, a good people around you in your life can actually help deal with issues such as this. It's by no way it's something that doesn't go away. It's something you can manage, but you can never go away. And the problem is with Nicole and the video that she put out, a lot of it was more cynical garbage. Hey, that woman is a cancer on society. People like her are the reason some people don't seek help. No, I agree with you. I totally and utterly agree with you there, Tonya. By the way, hello. And the thing, she kind of marginalizes the whole idea of with depression and that she had medication and she sought medical help. And yet, the point of medication works for some people but doesn't work for others. I totally agree on that. That's the only thing that I agree of in terms of the video, because the rest of it is utter like diatribe. Hey, and the diatribe of the fact is really harmful because if you're a young person, if you're in your teens, or if you're someone in society, it could be anything that happens to you. You might be being bullied at school. You may feel that life is a lot of to deal with, and things that happen like the way you're being raised, you may not have a connection with your family. You may feel lonely. I feel lonely all the time, despite the fact I have so many people around me, people who subscribe to my channel, people who are friends of mine on the internet, like Facebook and Twitter, and so many I love and I adore and I appreciate. But most of the time, I do feel lonely, and I feel like nothing is going right for me when things are. Like right now, I'm doing really well. Stuff that's happened, and I'm following my passions and following my dreams, but I think elements that basically go in your head because it will basically take something that's amazing and turn it totally upside down. Now, she was also going on about the fact that apparently 10% of our life, and this is according to a study, that 10% of the things in our life make us happy. In your head, where it can be debilitating to barely get out of bed. Oops, I'm trying to find the rest of what you said there. Ah, here we go. To barely get out of bed, sometimes due to the pain, depression, and that's the thing as well. It makes it so that you really don't want to deal with stuff. You don't want to deal with your life. You don't want to deal with the external factors that are outside. I'm very much the type of person who wants to do stuff and motivate himself. There are days I can't get out of bed because I just don't. I really. It's like you have this crippling anxiety that doesn't want you to move. You can't move from your area. You feel one position, and it hurts. And to basically marginalize that what she did, she's literally taking all these little diatribes that she's found, and making herself sound really intelligent. Like studies, this is how this goes, and according to studies, this is how this goes. And if you're basically a medical professional, you'll probably find what she's saying insulting, because there are studies that work and they've experienced it, and there are a lot of people in charity try to help deal with these issues. Like the one of the stars of Supernatural, I feel like he deals with depression a lot, and he's very outspoken on it. You had Chester Bennington, who took his own life due to his own depression and issues that were going on that weren't dealt with, that weren't kept in check. Growing up as a child, I was told by my father that you had to be a man and and deal with things a manly way. And the truth is, discussion and talk are the only ways that you can deal with it. Admitting the fact that you wake up in the morning and that you're upset and that you feel like things aren't going your way and that you feel sad and that you feel depressed. And it takes a strong person to admit these things. And also to need medical help. Like, I don't even mean medication. You could need to talk to someone like a psychiatrist, or you need to have a word with someone on a suicide prevention hotline just to kind of get by, like, the next one day to the next. Then do those things, because it's people like Nicole who basically tries to marginalize your pain and what you are going through, and she says she's experienced it herself. Now, if she these things, then she wouldn't be giving such ill advised advice. She would be going out of her way to explain what and to what they can do to deal with it, because it's not a joke. Depression is something that a lot of people deal with, and that you can see the reason why. The world is going to shit. You have people trying to kill one another. You have gun trades. You wake up and there's always something negative on the news. You can't hide away from these things. You can't do anything like accept it, because that's not the way the world works. All you can do is understand it and try and live your life the best way that you can, but also understand that if there is an ongoing condition, if there are ongoing problems, you have to address them. I get accused. I remember when I've had people walk away from me. A lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of close people who were in my life walk away from me due to my own depressions, my own anxieties, and my own pain. And a lot of them have said the same thing over and over again. Never talk about the fact you're going through this. Never talk you attempted to commit suicide, or don't talk of overshare your life and the things that you're going through, because apparently those are the wrong things to do. And I totally disagree, because by not sharing, by not opening up, all you're doing is causing more problems to persist. You're getting yourself to the stage where you feel like no one cares. And the truth is, you feel that way. I feel that way a lot. From the fact I have great people around me who do care about. Tonya always asks me how my day is every single day. She always gives me a good morning. I always have other friends around me in my social circle who ask me how I am and how things are, because they care about me. Even like Gashead Steve sends me a text message asking me how I'm feeling. This does help, because even though your brain is saying one thing, you do know that that's not the reality of the situation. Despite succumbing to your depression, you understand that in reality there are people there who love and care for you, because that's all you need. Otherwise, you go deeper and deeper to the point where you don't want to leave your house, where you don't want to be surrounded by anyone, where you push people away, and when you feel like nothing is left. And I've been there. I've literally been there to the point I was hanging from my fucking ceiling, trying to end my life because I couldn't deal with all the shit, that was going on. The depression, then why can't she be, when you keep yourself so people constantly, you won't along in your mind thinking, yeah, it's fun. And I agree with you. When you have things that occupy you, it does help because it gives you time not to be in your own head so much. Because it is a head situation. It is a situation where it basically affects you, but not just mentally, but physically. You feel like you just want to sleep and you don't want to do anything else in your life. And when it comes to someone like Nicole, and she basically says, it's all in your head, all you got to do is think, I'm okay, then yay, suck it up, Charlie, suck it up, Sandy, suck it up, whoever the fuck, because, eventually it gets better because you've beaten depression by saying, I'm not depressed anymore. If it was that easy, I would be basically happy and out of bed every day and doing everything, that I wanted to do. It's been so bad for me that I didn't even shower for a week. Yeah, I agree with you, and I've been there. I for 6 months without any, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to shower. My own depression actually caused an issue in my back that caused an electrical pain to go down my leg where I could barely walk without an assistance of a cane. Me that stated this. This was actually the doctor who checked me out and said, most of your pain is because of your stresses and your depression. And that's the thing. And you do lack ambition. Like, you could be the most creative person on the planet. You could be like someone who wants to make many paint the next painting, and you won't get out of bed because your depression takes you. And this is the thing. It's hard to even admit this sort of thing, and it's hard to even go through it because you yourself feel that life is just getting you down so much. That's not always good, to never trust your own mind and be alone and afraid. It'd be sad. But that's the thing. And I will admit this, and a lot of people won't admit this, but I still feel suicidal to this day. But now I've come to terms with it, and I've always reminded myself that the reality of the situation is by far less than what it appears to be. Waiting list right now to actually go and see someone about my ills and my issues. I have severe anxiety being around people to the point where I don't like talking to people and being in social groups with people I don't know, because it really makes me feel like I just want to run home, and I don't like it. It triggers me, so to speak. And being that actual person, but everything that kind of happened to me in my life and everything that I experienced made me like this. And it constantly, I was beaten, I was abused, I was hurt by people, I was emotionally and physically abused by people, and it happens. And it's a shame to say it happens, because in a perfect world it shouldn't happen, but it happens, and it adds up, and it causes you to literally get into a mental state that you can't get out of. And they usually say, well, a healthy diet, or if you have medication. And again, I agree on the medication part. For some people like myself, it would turn me into a robot. I even had a overdose on the medication to get myself out of bed, and it killed me. It's not the thing to do. But the problem is, you need medical assistance, and you also need a mixture of kind of self-help in a way, like self-reliance, to help you get from one stage to the next. And yeah, I always play it by ear, day by day. I play my like week by week, month by month, and make myself understand that is okay. Because if you don't, then you eventually will succumb to it. But dangerously saying to someone, and it's nothing to do with being depressed, you just have to snap out of it. It doesn't work that way. Or if it does, then I guarantee you weren't actually suffering from severe depression or anxiety at all. All you were doing was playing things by ear. And I'm ashamed to actually have people like Nicole Arbor being a role model for children, because she's not. And the funny thing is that video hit 6 million views, and a lot of it was probably because of the fact that people were triggered by this. By the fact, and lit felt it was, how dare you take my pain, my, you know, issues, and marginalize it like that. But this is Nicole Arbor. She's known for this. It's like Asian is known for with her man hating. Nicole Arbor is known for taking someone's pain and marginalizing it. Like the Dear Fat People video. Her excuse for the Dear Fat People video was, don't eat so much. Without actually understanding what the medical condition is. Some people may have glandular issues. Other people may be eating and consuming to deal with their pain. Others may have something which issue, marginalize and pigeonhole everybody into a small little box and say, this is who you. This is why we have things like the Me Too movement going on at the moment. This is why we have summits going on to let people know that this is a serious issue. Depression is serious. It's real. And it's something that we feel that we're battling on our own. When the truth is, we're not battling it on our own. There's so many of us out there who we can reach out and understand another person's experience. There are ways to get help, despite the fact people in government decreasing those ways to get help because they don't see it as a real issue. And videos like that doesn't help people actually deal with this, because all it does is cause scenarios where people will just try and kill themselves, because it gets worse and worse and worse. And the more you don't acknowledge a problem, get me. I kept walking around pretending everything when it wasn't. I kept acting like everyone was fine and it wasn't. I kept trying to deal with everything by myself until the point where I was literally pushed over off the cliff, where I was hanging from a noose. And if it wasn't for a few people in my life, I would have been dead. I was ready to take my last breath, and I was ready to be on that final stage of my life and end it. And I'm so glad that I'm still here. And I'm so glad that I'm fighting each day. And that's the way it should be. By not addressing a problem and pretending that it's something you can just walk off, that's when the problems start. And that's a definitive on that. If you think I'm wrong, always leave a comment below. You guys think. But for me, as not only someone who's a father to little children who experience stuff like this, but as also someone who dealt with it most of his life, depression is real. And you are real. And everything that you go through, it's not minor. You are not irrelevant. And you can't just walk it off. The only thing I can say is just be open and honest about it. And try, when you can, seek the help and advice that you need. If medication isn't for you, make sure you have counseling. Or make sure you've got someone in your life who can walk you through it and help you through it. But that takes a lot of effort. And as people, A lot of people don't tend to work with that. Some people, I love you, I will deal with this with you, and they may run the next day because then they realize I'm over my fucking head, I can't deal with this. I've had that situation happen. But honesty helps. And being honest about your situation, your condition helps. And that's the main thing. I'm not saying you can't be a normal human being and stuff, but what I'm saying is being honest about it will help you in the long run address that situation and do what is best for you medically and also with self-care. But you can't walk it off. You can't sit there and go, well, today I can move on from that, because it hits you like a ton of bricks. As Gorilla Gamer has stated, as Gashead Steve has stated, as Tonya has so politely and lovingly stated, you can't walk away from these sort of things. And when you address that, when you understand that, hypocrites like Nicole Arbor have no power. And she is a hypocrite. And I will say this, Nicole, if you watch this video, and I doubt you will because I don't have enough subscribers for you to even consider me a threat in any way, shape, or form, which I'm fine with, because I rather wouldn't want to be in that angle. And if you think but you'll probably just make fun of me. But still, this video, know that you are a horrible human being. You are the worst type of troll on the planet. And to me, as someone who literally seems like a sociopath, you don't understand what human beings go through. You're like a robot in that sense, and you see everything as a joke. And it's kind of one of the reasons why we're on channels getting a lot of our shit taken up, like her and people like Logan Paul. But still, it's sad. But I will say to talk to someone, I would be more than happy to talk to you here. Facebook, I would be happy to talk, share, and express my feelings and talk to you about your feelings, because you know what? We got to help each other. Because I know how costly a psychiatrist would be, because no one does it. So, we don't even have it on the NHS over here anymore. It's kind of one of those things where you can go to group meetings, but you still have to have them scheduled and the right reasons. I've been waiting since August 2 years ago now. August 2 years ago. That's the way it is. Now, I'm going to try and address something which I don't know if you guys are going to actually like this or not. If people are going to hate what I say here, it depends. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato, in a sense. There was recently the Women's March, and I'm totally 100% supportive of it. Scarlett Johansson recently did she stood up and she did a speech and she, apparently, and again this is rumors and innuendo, she referred to James Franco in her speech, who stands by the movement but yet is a hypocrite because he's being accused, and again he says that none of this ever happened, by 5 different women for basically being abusive and using his position of power as abusive. She's been called out recently, and I kind of agree with the fact she's being lambasted because she herself is being a hypocrite. Now, again, bear with me on this if you don't know. I am not a fan of Woody Allen. A lot of people, I don't know many people who are. I had to block someone on Twitter because he was trying to normalize Woody Allen's behavior. He is, by all intents and purposes, a pedophile. There was an allegation that came out by his ex-stepdaughter stating that when she was 13, he was very sexually abusive to her. Her brother basically stated the same things. The guy's basically, he's denying it, of course, and Scarlett Johansson spoke up and basically stated that what she was saying, but she inferred that what she was saying was baseless because there was no evidence to the fact, there was no proof. Now, going from information and saying, well, there's no proof in defending someone, who's basically a pedophile, and I'll say he's a pedophile, and if he doesn't like me calling him a pedophile, well, that's tough. Did he? Could marrying your ex-adopted daughter isn't pedophilic behavior? The girl that you helped kind of raise, yeah, it boggles the mind. But as a parent and as somebody who, there's a few things. One is pedophilia, two is rape, three is sexual or physical abuse in any way, shape, or form, and also mental abuse, of course. That I don't, so serial killers, but they're the things that I stand for. It comes to my whole reasoning that anybody who tries to support that should really be held accountable, and I'm holding her accountable here. And again, she probably will never see this video, but I'm holding her accountable for this. And she basically needs to stand up and she needs to apologize to this young lady because she's saying that she has no proof, so she's basically a liar. That's what she's calling her as. Then she's yet attacking James Franco, who again there's no evidence. And again, I'm not on his side. I'm on no one's side on this. So I'm gonna point that out right now. But she's saying there's no evidence there. There's no proof. None of these women, from what I've known, have gone to the police in regards to the situation. They've just spun out an allegation, and she's basically attacking him and defending Woody Allen. That makes no sense to me. It makes you a hypocrite in more ways than one. And again, it takes away the power from the movement. The Me is a movement that's supposed to basically stand against anybody that uses their physical and power to take someone and abuse them. And not just women, anyone. And you've had men in Hollywood that have gone through the same thing. Terry Crews could explain to you his situation. And it's not just men of power, it's women of power, it's anyone in power. When you take someone and you're abusive to them, that's what the Me Too movement stands for. It stands for bringing the power back to the victim. It's also been bastardized recently with the Aziz Ansari situation, where this girl had a bad date and decided to use the Me Too movement as a way to kind of attack him, basically destroy any substance of a career that he has. And this is what's happening to Franco. And again, I'm not saying he hasn't done anything wrong, but I'm saying there's no evidence here as of yet. Hopefully something will come out that will prove the former or the latter, either way. But this whole saying someone's guilty until proven innocent, it's not as cut and dry as the Harvey Weinstein situation. It's not as cut and dry as Kevin Spacey. These guys literally went out there and said, yep, this is what we did. Weinstein instead was found out from it, but also admitted to the fact that it was a different time, which basically his word of, well, I thought I could be abusive. And with Spacey, he used the whole I'm drunk defense, which shows you what kind of people they are. James Franco has basically said that never happened, and until something comes out to prove otherwise, really shouldn't be the case. Crap.